They never thought the tape would surface. They never thought she'd actually get cuffed, but here we are, Chrissy. Lynn in court in full glam, getting arrested on the spot, and the reason a fake pregnancy so messy, so manipulative, it makes every love. And hip-hop plotline looked like Sesame Street. This isn't just another reality TV meltdown. This is perjury, fraud, and full-blown criminal deception, because when that tape played in the courtroom, her voice saying, "He'll never leave me if he thinks I'm pregnant." The gallery gasped. Jim Jones dropped his pen, and the judge issued an arrest warrant right then and there. Was it a desperate move to keep Jim close, a twisted plan to stay relevant after the Dipset collapse, or something even more calculated tied to Cameron's betrayal and the VH1 backroom deals? And here's the wildest part. Sources say the pregnancy lie wasn't just emotional, it was monetized. Yep, we're talking brand deals, interviews, and an entire storyline built on a baby that never existed. This isn't just messy, it's criminal. And Chrissy, she just went from reality star to reality check, you think? This is bad. Wait till you hear who leaked the tape. You could feel it in the air. The court wasn't just packed, it was boiling. The air conditioning couldn't fight the tension. Something was coming. Everyone could feel it, but no one, not even Chrissy herself, was ready for what was about to go down. She walked in like she always does, chin high, outfit loud, eyes behind designer shades, like she had nothing to hide. But what she didn't know was that someone had brought receipts, and this time they weren't from Fashion Nova. They were from a burner phone and a microphone. The courtroom clerk whispered something to the judge. He nodded once, then turned to Chrissy's lawyer. "Your client may want to hear this before she continues," he said. Then he signaled the bafe. A flash drive was inserted in a TAT courtroom sound system, a file titled Lampkin Unedited. MP3 began to play. The voice, Chrissy's, calm, calculated, cold. "No, I'm not pregnant, but if I say I am, he won't leave. He'll stay. He always stays when he thinks we're building a family." The courtroom erupted. Gasps, hands over mouths. Even the stenographer froze, typing suspended mid-word. Jim Jones dead silent. He didn't move, just sat there staring at the bench in front of him like it would open up and swallow him whole. And then the judge leaned forward. "Manon, is that your voice on this tape?" Chrissy didn't speak. Her lawyer did. We'd like to request a private review of. Too late. The judge had already signed an arrest order right there. Open court, no commercial break, just cuffs. But wait, how did we even get here? To understand this moment, we have to rewind back to 8 months ago, when rumors first started swirling online that Chrissy was pregnant again. Theblogs had a field day. Is Jim finally getting a baby? Chrissy glowing in Harlem. New chapter for the Jones family. Even VH1 teased a special announcement in the upcoming season of Love and Hip Hop. Secrets unlocked. Cameras followed her everywhere. She rubbed her stomach in Instagram stories. She dropped hints like breadcrumbs. "I'm not saying I'm pregnant, but I'm not saying I'm not classic." Chrissy bait. But behind the scenes, there was no ultrasound, no OBGYN, no appointment. Noby. What there was, however, was a script, a carefully planned storyline built to win sympathy, secure more screen time, and keep Jim locked in place while Dipset imploded around them. See, at that time, Cameron had just been exposed. The truth about his relationship with Chrissy had leaked. Calls, emails, even a beach photo. Jim was reeling. The internet was laughing. And Chrissy, she needed to flip the narrative fast. Insiders say the fake pregnancy was her move, a power play. She knew how to keep Jim close, said an anonymous source from VH1's production team. He might have been mad, but if there was a baby, he wouldn't walk away. That's what she counted on. And it worked at first. Jim started coming around again. He was spotted house hunting with her. He even posted a blurry photo with the caption, "Blessings on blessings." Fans assumed it meant a baby was on the way. Chrissy's brand deals went up. One, a vitamin company reportedly paid her 5 figures to post a fake bump update. Another skincare brand made her their glow ambassador. Even baby brands started sliding into her DMs. But the real mess started when she got sloppy. A clip from a behind-the-scenes shoot for a Love and Hip Hop episode leaked. showing Chrissy sipping champagne at first. Fans dismissed it. Maybe it's apple cider, they said, but then came the tape. That voice memo wasn't just recorded casually. It was strategic blackmail. Sources say Cameron had the tape the whole time. And when the courtroom turned against him during Jim's son's emotional testimony, he decided to throw Chrissy under the bus. He figured if he's going down, said one insider, he's taking everyone with him. So Cam turned over the recording originally made during a late night phone call where Chrissy was venting about how to reclaim the narrative. She had no idea. He was recording. The voice memo was short, just under 2 minutes, but it was enough to blow her whole world to pieces, and now the public is scrambling to figure out how deep this lie really goes. Was Jim really fooled? Was he in on it? Or was he just another pawn in Chrissy's desperate grab for power, legacy, and relevance in a storyline that stopped being cute years ago? After the arrest, courtroom security tried to escort Chrissy quietly, but that was impossible. Reporters were everywhere. Wig nearly flew off as cameras flashed. One journalist screamed, "Are you really pregnant, Chrissy?" Another, "Was it all just for VH1 and the wildest part her own?" Publicists stood on the steps outside and whispered there never was a baby boom. By the end of the day, Jarn fake pregnancy queen was trending. The memes ruthless Chrissy photoshopped into baby showers with empty cribs. A fake baby registry that listed attention and screen time as top gifts. And Jim Jones holding an imaginary baby looking confused. But what hurt them most, Jim never showed up to the jailhouse, not for bail, not for backup, not even for her mugshot, and that silence louder than any gavel in the courtroom, because while Chrissy sat in a cold holding cell in full makeup and betrayal, Jim was gone. Reportedly, he left New York again, this time for good, and word on the street is he's cutting everyone off. But what happens next? What other deals did Chrissy sign under this fake narrative? What lawsuits are waiting in the wings, and who else knew this was a lie the whole time? Because trust me, this goes deeper. They booked her under her government name. Christine Lannon. No reality star glitter, no love and hip-hop confessional lighting, just a cold metal bench, fluorescent lights, and the sound of a steel door slamming shut behind her. And while she sat in that holding cell phone, confiscated lashes still intact, the world outside was collapsing, because the tape wasn't the only piece of evidence that surfaced that day. According to sources close to the prosecution, a second leak came just hours after Chrissy's arrest. Screenshots from a secret group chat titled Pregnancy Playbook. Yeah, you read that right. In this chat were Chrissy, a VH1 associate, producer named Morgan B., and someone saved as CC Kem, believed to be Cameron's assistant. The messages: pure scandal gold. Morgan B. will shoot the reveal in Miami. She just has to say she missed her period and act emotional. Chrissy got it. I'll wear flowy dresses and rub my belly during talking head. See Cam. Jimmy won't know what hit him, lol. Let that sink in. They weren't just faking a pregnancy, they were producing it like a mini-series. Fake reactions, fake tears, fake positive tests. Props 1 message even detailed a plan to use Jim's mother in the narrative. Chrissy, I'll get Mama Jones to start posting about grandbabies. That'll sell it. Worse yet, the producers allegedly paid Chrissy a bonus for sticking to the lie. A leaked Venmo transaction showed a payment labeled storyline incentive from a VH1 linked account. 2 days after her first on-air pregnancy, teased by now, public trust in Chrissy wasn't just broken, it was incinerated. And Jim, still no comments, still no appearance, but guess who did speak out? Mama Jones. She went live on Instagram, hair in a scarf, smoking a Virginia Slim, and said, "I always knew that girl was full of games. I ain't seen no baby bump, no clinic visits. No, nothing. Jim, better wake up and leave that drama behind." She wasn't alone. Fans flooded her comments with support. "We've been waiting for you to speak. Mama Jones, you always kept it real." Chrissy Dunn played herself out of the whole family. But wait, this next part is what really shook the table. After the group chat leak, a former Love and Hip Hop editor anonymously dropped a 3-minute unreleased cut from a scene that never aired. The footage: Chrissy backstage after filming a confession scene. She takes off her mic, sigh deeply, and mutters, "Damn, I hope nobody asks." For proof, I can't fake this forever. Boom, her own confession caught raw off camera, but very, very real. The footage spread faster than fire. TMZ reposted it within an hour. Shade Room captioned it caught slipping. Even Cardi B commented, "Led this tea is boiling." The E-narrative was, no longer did Chrissy lie, it became who helped her lie and why, and that brings us back to Cameron. Turns out Huant, just an innocent bystander in this mess, according to anonymous testimony submitted to the court. Cam allegedly funded part of the fake pregnancy rollout. Receipts showed that a PR firm was hired on Chrissy's behalf, paid directly by Purple Haze LLC, Cam's known company. Their job: create narrative online flood blogs with soft announcements, plant stories hinting at IVF. Yes, they even went so far as to fake a fertility struggle to humanize the lie. One blog post that ran during this campaign read, sources say Chrissy has been quietly undergoing IVF treatments, hoping for a miracle baby with Jim. It was all part of the script, a fabricated comeback arc for Chrissy, meant to clean up her image after the Cameron affair drama and keep the love and hip-hop audience emotionally invested. But now the audience wants blood. Public comments turned savage. She lied about life, not drama life. Pregnancy for sympathy, lock her up. She weaponized motherhood. That's unforgivable. And as if that wasn't enough, the FTC stepped in. Why? Because Chrissy promoted prenatal vitamins and baby-safe skincare while pretending to be pregnant, and now those brands are facing false advertising lawsuits, which means they're turning around and suing her. One company, Glow Mama Naturals, issued a public statement. "We partnered with Ms. Lampin in good faith. We are shocked and disappointed to learn that pregnancy was fabricated. We will be pursuing legal action." So now Chrissy isn't just dealing with public humiliation and arrest, she's facing civil suits, brand blacklisting, and possible fraud charges for misrepresenting her medical condition for financial gain. The judge has already ordered an emergency evidence hearing where producers, PR reps, and Chrissy herself are expected to be cross-examined under oath. And Jim still. No word. According to our sources, he's cleaning house. Literally, his team reportedly showed up at the apartment he and Chrissy once shared and removed every single item with her name on it. Photos, clothes, even her dog's food bowl. The message: "You're done." But here's the twist no one saw coming. Right before part 2 ends, we received exclusive intel that another tape exists. One even worse than the fake pregnancy voice note. This one video, and it doesn't just show Chrissy talking, shows her negotiating the lie in a hotel room with Morgan B. with scripts with fake pregnancy tests on the table. If that video hits the courtroom, it's game over. The judge could upgrade the charges from misdemeanor deception to felony fraud. VH1 could be forced to shut down entire seasons. Multiple producers could face federal scrutiny, and Chrissy, she could go from cuffed in court to convicted behind bars. But what's scarier, insiders say she didn't act alone. There's a second woman, another Love and hip-hop cast member, who allegedly coached her through the entire scam, and she's about to be subpoenaed. Court was scheduled to reopen at 10 o'clock a.m. sharp, but by 8:30, a crowd had already formed outside the courthouse. Bloggers with tripods, YouTubers streaming live, aunties holding styrofoam coffee cups, whispering, "OJ, Chrissy, fear, Roya G." And they were right, because part 3 of this wasn't just scandal, it was a reckoning. By mid-morning, Chrissy was brought back into court in handcuffs, wearing a neutral gray jumpsuit with her initials stitched in. She looked exhausted, makeup faded, attitude gone. This wasn't the woman who once strutted across Love and Hip Hop stages, flipping hair and calling the shots. This was a woman about to face a judge with zero patience left. But here's where it gets insane. Just as the proceedings were about to begin, the prosecution asked to submit new evidence. The judge nodded, and that's when the hotel video dropped, leaked to the prosecution. Just hours earlier, from an encrypted server, the footage showed Chrissy and Morgan B., the VH1 associate producer, inside his suite at the W Hotel. In Times Square, there were scripts on the table, a pile of positive pregnancy tests, clearly props a folder labeled Pregnancy Arc Season 3, and Chrissy sang in her own voice, "So once we get past the second episode, I'll fake the symptoms, the vitamins. Deal hits after that, and I'll say I'm high risk to skip the ultrasound storyline." Morgan's reply, "We'll cover you if you say miscarriage by episode 6. The fans will back off." The courtroom dead silent. The judge stared at the screen like she was watching a crime scene unravel in real time. Jim Jones wasn't present, but Mama Jones was, and let's just say she didn't whisper this time. She stood up and shouted, "That's Phil. That's straight up." Well, the judge pounded the gavel order in the court, but Chrissy just sat there frozen, no emotion. Number tears, no defense, because what could she say? The video showed everything, the planning, the props, strategy, the manipulation. The judge leaned forward. "Ms. Lamon, are you prepared to explain this footage to the court before?" Chrissy's lawyer could speak. The courtroom doors swung open, and in walked a familiar face. Yandandi Smith. That's right, the same Yandandi who's been feuding with Chrissy. For years, the same Yandandi who nearly fought Chrissy on camera. The same Yandandi who once said you think you a wife because you've been engaged for 15 years. Now, she was walking into court, subpoena in hand, escorted by legal counsel. Gasps swept the gallery. The media lost it. One blogger literally whispered, "This is giving finale energy." Yandi approached Shed's witness stand. She took the oath, she sat down, and then she dropped the bomb. "Yes, I knew Chrissy was lying. Yes, Morgan helped plan the fake pregnancy. Yes, Cameron knew too, and yes, VH1 paid her a bonus to keep the storyline going." The court lost its mind. Even the judge leaned back in his chair like he needed a moment. Yandandi went on, "I warned producers this would backfire. I told them exploiting motherhood for a storyline was a bad idea, but they didn't care, they said. If the ratings goop, we win. And you want to know the worst part, they told Chrissy to fake a miscarriage. If the lie got exposed, Mick dropped Chrissy. Finally broke. Tears streamed down her face. Her voice cracked. "I didn't want to go through with it, but I had nothing left. My reputation was gone. Jim wasn't coming home. I had no storyline. No brand deals, no offers. I thought if I gave them something dramatic enough. It's not matter again. Too late. The damage was done." The judge ordered a full investigation into VH1's production practices, opening the door for potential network-wide legal fallout. Several producers were placed on emergency leave. Morgan B was escorted out of court by federal investigators. VH1 issued a shaky statement blaming individual decision-making and vowing to review internal ethics protocols. But the public, they weren't buying it. Twitter exploded. VH1 encouraged a miscarriage plot cancel theme. Chrissy faked an entire life to keep a man she already lost. Yandandi might have just saved the whole culture. Petitions to shut down Love and Hip Hop gained 100K. Plus signatures, overnight brands pulled ads, sponsors went ghost and went. Chrissy, the judge, upgraded the charges. She now faces felony fraud, conspiracy to commit emotional abuse, and willful misrepresentation for financial gain if convicted. She could serve up to 7 years as BAFEs escorted her out of court, this time for transfer, not temporary holding. Her last words were barely audible. "Tell Jim I didn't mean for it to go this far, but Jim, he still hasn't said a word. Sources say he's now in Paris, taking meetings with independent producers about a docuseries titled The Last Truth. The subject, the real story behind Dipset, Chrissy Cameron, and the fall of a dynasty. Because while Chrissy may have faked a pregnancy, she couldn't fake her downfall, and in the end, the lie didn't save her. It buried her. She looked defeated when Chrissy walked back into the courtroom, flanked by 2 BAFEs and a lawyer who looked like he was already rehearsing her plea deal. The public saw what she had become, not a victim, not a queen, but a headline waiting to implode outside. Protesters lined the courthouse steps, not political activists. Fans, former viewers, mothers, survivors. Real women holding signs that read, "Pregnancy is not a PR stunt. Motherhood is not for ratings. Lock her up." What had started as a viral scandal was now a cultural conversation, and then came the final blow as Chrissy sat in court, clearly crumbling the prosecution introduced. New evidence, a wire transfer receipt from Cameron's business account to an offshore consulting firm, purpose of transaction. Narrative development fee amount, $60,000. Date 2 weeks before Chrissy announced the pregnancy online, the room exploded again. Bloggers were shaking even. Courtroom security looked shocked. Cameron, of course, wasn't present. He was traveling according to his team, but insiders say he's been quietly lawyering up since the first arrest was made. But that wasn't the final twist, because the judge had one more. Question: has Ms. Lampin profited financially from the alleged pregnancy scheme? And the answer: an overwhelming yes. Receipts rolled in from PR firms, reality show producers, supplement brands, podcast appearances, and a rumored book deal titled Forever Yours Maybe. The Chrissy Chronicles, which promised to reveal the hidden truths behind love, loyalty, and survival. That book never written. The deal canceled hours after her arrest. Even the publishing house issued a statement: "We do not support fraudulent narratives that harm public trust." And then came the final testimony, not from Yondandy, not from Cam, not even from Jim, but from one of Chrissy's former best friends, a woman named Trina Bell, once a background cast member on Love and Hip Hop, now a hairstylist in Atlanta. She was subpoenaed after old emails between her and Chrissy were found in the VH1 archive server, emails that read like a blueprint to manipulate not just Jim, but the entire franchise. "Jimmy don't think right when he emotionally," Chrissy wrote in one, "if I hit him with a pregnancy. Plus that old Cam drama, he'll snap, he'll marry me out of guilt, even if it's fake." Trina had replied, "He won't know till it's too late." Chrissy responded by, "Then I'll have my season, my ring, and me legacy." Those emails were damning, not just for Chrissy, but for the entire industry that helped make her a star. And that's when the judge lost it, slamming the gavel. He announced an official federal ethics probe into VH1's production unit, stating, "This court believes what we're seeing is not just personal deception, but systemic exploitation." Cue chaos. Producers scrambled. VH1 reps walked out. Morgan Beath, associate producer who was caught in the hotel footage, was arrested on the spot for conspiracy to commit fraud and unlawful tampering with public narratives. Chrissy, she didn't say a word. She didn't cry. She didn't plead. She just sat there, the weight of every camera, every lie, every brand deal, every DM crashing down around her. Then the ruling came in. Chrissy Lamine would be remanded without bail pending felony charges of intentional emotional fraud, financial deception for commercial gain, manipulation of broadcast content, obstruction of contractual ethics. Her maximum potential sentence up to 8 years in prison and outside. Mama Jones stood on the courthouse steps and said what everyone was already thinking: "I tried to tell him, I tried to tell all of y'all she never loved Jim, she loved the lights." Meanwhile, Jim still hasn't returned to the U.S. Sources say he's been offered meeting with independent filmmakers in South Africa, crafting what insiders believe will be the biggest teledocu-series reality TV has ever seen. Working title: The Engagement That Never Ended. It's rumored to cover everything: Dipset's implosion, Cam's betrayal, Chrissy's manipulation, VH1's inner corruption, and the emotional toll of 20 years in love with a lie. And in the shadows of that drama, Cameron's name has resurfaced again, because guess what? The same encrypted server that leaked Chrissy's hotel footage also reportedly contains texts from Cam bragging about the fake pregnancy scheme to Anna, the reality star Erica Mena. That's right, if that footage gets out, this whole thing becomes a multi-show, multi-star network disaster. VH1 may not survive it. The franchise may burn, but one thing is crystal clear now: Chrissy was never just acting. She was producing her own downfall in real time, and now no script can save her, because for the first time in her career, the cameras aren't rolling for a season finale. They're rolling for court. So after all that, what do you believe now? Was this just a desperate woman trying to hold on to a crumbling love story? or a strategic manipulator who turned pregnancy into profit and pain? Chrissy Lemon didn't just lie to Jim. She lied to the world, to every fan who rooted for her, to every woman who thought her story was one of strength, not strategy. And when that tape played, when that hotel video dropped, when the fake state baby tests were laid out in court, there was no coming back but maybe. The bigger question isn't why she did it, it's who helped her do it and why they all stayed. Silent VH1 Cameron. The producers, the brands, they saw the lie, they funded it, they packaged it, they sold it to you, so what happens now? Does Chrissy face real prison time? Does VH1 finally shut the lights off? Does Jim ever speak his truth? Or is this just the beginning of something darker? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Chrissy deserves jail time? Was Jim just collateral damage, and should these networks be held accountable for turning trauma into television? Hit that like button. If you're still shocked, subscribe. If you want part 2 of this legal mess, because we're hearing whispers that another cast member is about to get exposed. And this time, it ain't about a baby, it's about blood. Stay tuned because the truth always leaks.